Hi, my name is Abhinav Lohia. I'm the Director of Global Business Development at Golden Gate Global, owner and operator of regional centers headquartered in San Francisco, California. Today, we will be discussing return on investment on your EB5 Visa investment. EB5 Visa program was established in 1990 by US Congress for attracting foreign direct investment and creating American jobs. It is a direct pathway to US permanent residence or a green card. Green card is granted to the investor, their spouse, and children below the age of 21. It requires a minimum investment of $800,000 in targeted employment areas and $1,050,000 outside of TEAs. EB5 Visa program requires creation of 10 new American jobs per investor. A lot of times when I speak with clients, they are fixated on the investment part of investment immigration, and they want to know what the real return on investment is on the 800,000 or $1,050,000 that they're investing in the United States. Now, the twofold purpose of an EB5 visa application, and the primary purpose, in fact, is immigrating to the United States. And the second is preservation of capital. Let me explain. Investment immigration is more about immigration and less about investment. Why people invest in EB5 is to get a green card and the doors it opens. And why we have set such a low standard in terms of investment, which is just preservation of capital, is because your ROI, the true ROI on your investment, is usually between 0.25 to 1% or maximum 1.5%. The reason it is so low is because regional centers have to offer debt to projects cheaper than a regular bank or a financial institution would. That's the only way regional centers can attract good quality projects. Therefore, regional centers make lower interest rate on the loans they forward to EB5 projects. Hence, it also lowers the return on investment for EB5 investors. But if we were to go beyond just the direct ROI to the indirect advantages and return on investment on your EB5 investment, it would make a lot more sense. So first thing, investment depends on the stage of life of the investor. If you are a prospective student or your child is a prospective student in a university in the United States, well, the first major advantage is it may qualify you for lower tuition. International students pay the maximum amount of tuition to study in a course in the United States. Then there is out-of-state tuition. It is for American students who live outside the state where the university is located. And the cheapest is in-state, where the university is located and the students are resident of that state. So if prior to getting admitted into a university, let's say a university in California, if you're residing in the state of California for at least 1 year, you can qualify for in-state tuition, which ends up being about anywhere from 25 to 30% of international student fee. If you are an American residing outside the state of California and want to attend, for example, UCLA, then you'll pay out-of-state tuition, which ends up being about 75 to 80% of international student fee. And finally, if you're an international student, you pay the maximum 100% of what is charged to international students. So that's your first return on investment if you get a green card through EB5 visa. Secondly, it increases chances of students of getting internships. These internships are important. There is a direct advantage that you get a stipend while you're interning. Most internships end up being paid internships. The second biggest advantage is once the student graduates, these internships end up being full-time jobs for them. So that, again, is a direct advantage of having a green card versus being an international student who find it really hard to find internships. A lot of students in STEM, in science, technology, math, all that, may still get internships. But if you're looking at law schools or management, MBA courses, all of that, it is really difficult. Secondly, it removes restrictions on the type of work and the number of hours while studying. So international students can only intern in the field of their study. They cannot get jobs outside of that. Whereas American students, since they are of a legal age to work, they can work anywhere for as many hours as long as they're able to attend school. Whereas international students, the number of hours is also capped on the amount they can work during a week. Now, moving on to the next stage of life, when you graduate. Having a green card exposes you to bigger pool of employers. you're not dependent on, the employers that sponsor H-1B visa. Because you can apply to more jobs, it also gives you leverage in salary negotiations. Whereas international students are struggling or fighting for the same finite number of job offers from the same H-1B sponsoring employers. Therefore, they have little to no leverage when it comes to salary negotiations. Additionally, another advantage of EB5 is that once you start working, this is the next phase. Initially, it's fine. You're starting off in a job. You get promoted to senior level of the same category that you were employed in. But after a decade, when it's time to jump to management position, a lot of H-1B visa holders struggle with that. And the reason for that is that if you change the job profile, it may reset your green card application. For many countries like India and China and a couple of others, the wait time to get a green card under other EB categories or employment-based categories is 20 to 30 years. So, and if during that time your job profile changes, then that period restarts. Whereas if you're a green card holder, none of that matters. If you want to get a promotion and it's offered to you, you can take it and move on with your life. Another big part of getting a green card is your entire family can work, especially your spouse. A lot of H-1B visa holders have spouse on H-4 visa. Now, certain conditions need to be met before the spouse can actually get an employment authorization to work in the United States. And if those conditions are not met, they are dependent on one paycheck, which in the United States, with the high cost of living, is really hard. Whereas once you have a green card, your spouse, in fact, even your children, once they attain a certain age, are able to work and earn. All this is not possible if you're simply on an H-1B visa. So again, this is a very high return on your investment. And lastly, peace of mind. And a lot of people cannot relate to this because they're probably not in the United States or have not spent enough time in the United States. But a lot of professionals on H-1B visa after 5, 7 years or 10 years of working in the United States, when they have children, they have a family, they're really concerned about layoffs. They're concerned that if they get laid off, they only have 60 days to find alternate employment. Otherwise, they have to leave the United States. This is not the case when you have a green card. And that's a very big factor. And it adds to your peace of mind. So while there is no direct investment return on your investment per se on the 800,000 that you invest, it's usually 1%. But if you look at the indirect return on your investment, it is really, really high. I hope this was helpful. For more information, log on to 3gfund.com or email us at info@3gfund.com. Thank you.